our knowledge and power, we turn to the no bullshit hour.
Let's just did breaking news. Dub or bullshit. Dub or bullshit.
No bullshit.
All right, everybody. It's a special Memorial Day program here in the No Bullshit News Hour. So this is your Friday show coming Wednesday. We figured we had to do it today. Today's the big news.
Yep.
We're gonna tell you right now that the state of Michigan has been tanking those nursing home numbers all along. They were counting them back last summer, realized, well, I don't know what they realized. The numbers were so high, and then they stopped counting. So the state did a limited review of all deaths, found about half of them they looked at, went back to the nursing homes, and then they stopped doing it. So the nursing home numbers you're getting are simply the ones that the nursing homes are copying to. And that's it. So we're going to have a roundup here with my good pal now and lawyer Steve DeLee from the Mackinac Center for Public Policy. And this is big. Get ready. We're going to have the Norma Ray of nursing home nurses. What do we call her? Jessica?
Jessica.
Oh, remember Nurse Jessica. She had to keep her identity private, for employment's sake and safety's sake. She's coming out. She's blowing the whistle. Her face, her name. It's time. We need the shit fixed. Also, remember we said the governor's slush fund, that political slush fund, which took the plane to Florida? We don't know who was on it, who cut the check, what was the purpose? Remember, we said we don't quit. I know there's Pizzagate.
Yeah.
But we don't.
God, yeah.
Red went to the president of that slush fund's home.
Sure did.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been long and it's been hard. I'm tired. And also, this is the Memorial Day weekend. This is also the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Of which I was in New York. I covered that hole every day and all the life going on in that city every day. So we're going to start today, go back. I'm going to give you a reading from some of the work I did back then. So I hope you enjoy that. So this is what we're going to do, since people don't really expect us on a Wednesday, and we're going to start doing 2 shows a week. We're going to let you know. But what I'm going to do, waiting for people to get notified, I'm going to just at the top give you a word from all of our sponsors, and we'll take care of it like that, okay? So remember, it's really pretty simple. ADR consultants are the ones you call when you need to get something done right and on time and on budget. Are you an investor and can't get straight answers about where your assets are, or if your property is properly registered, right? Or if
all of it.
The land bank is fighting with you.
ADR.
You call ADR. Issues with the city, zoning, certification, ADR. You're trying to get something remodeled and need permits, you call ADR because they're honest, ethical, smart. Call Barry Ellentuck for a free consultation, 248-318-9424. Mention the No Bullshit Hour and tell them you need to get your shit fixed. Mm-hmm. Also, remember our good friends from American Coney Island.
Love them.
There will not be any Coney kids being shipped this week. It's Memorial Day. But it's open for business. It's done. You can come in, you can sit down, you don't have to have your mask. It's still the cleanest place. It is. I'm gonna tell you how good these dogs are.
How good are they?
My dog won't eat regular hot dogs.
What a snob.
Yeah, he's only American.
Hey, when you get the best.
See, when people say I wouldn't feed that to my dog said I won't eat anything but. And I love that boy. So go to the corner of Michigan and Lafayette for the original, the best. But Vidalia onions.
So I can go sit down and eat right now.
Yes, you can. Get a nice cold beer. All the coolers are working. It's beautiful.
Those wheels spinning in his head.
Yeah, there you go.
He's out of here.
AmericanConeyIsland.com. All right,
said beer.
and Hall Financial. Thank you, Hall Financial, for sponsoring us. You've been a great supporter. Everybody, take your business to Hall. What do we got? What I got to tell you about rates?
Oh, I think they're the lowest ever, and they're staying low. And slow down.
Property values are going through the roof. So look, if you've got a mortgage, the value of your house just went up. You can refi, get some of that, get some of the equity, and fix the things you want to get fixed.
Nothing to lose. Give them a call.
Yep, that's it. So go to davidhallmortgage.com or call 248-308-5000, davidhallmortgage.com. And finally, yes, my dear pal Luke Nowacki wants to remind you that if you're not among the ruling elite who can make your pal's pockets fat off the taxpayers' back, if you're actually working for a living, if you don't have a political slush fund to fly you to go see your daddy, right? You're going to have to provide for, your own plane fare.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to need some extra money.
Well, if you have a political slush fund, he could probably help that grow, too.
No, he don't play.
Oh, okay.
He ain't playing with the slush funds. Call Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. Grow your assets from annuities, individual retirement accounts, college savings plans, stocks and bonds. Get into the funds, the energy funds. Make that call now. Your politicians and your children are dependent on you. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748.
And call the one and only Royal Alliance Associates.
I just want to say right quick, make sure you share. The only way the information gets out there is if you share.
A lot of important info today.
Yeah.
Viewers love your hat, Brett.
Hey, Detroit all the way. You know how we do it.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, Charlie.
All right, let's get into it. All right, Steve, let me start it this way. Let me just go to Deadline Detroit and read the article, because it's thick. It's got numbers, it's got definitions. Really get yourself knowledgeable, because here it comes now. Right, Steve?
Correct, Charlie.
You remember what happened to Cuomo in New York? It's like that here. Cuomo knew the numbers and withheld them, and Michigan decided not to get the true numbers. Right, brother?
That's correct.
So what do we do? We shut down human activity based on data and science. Remember? Data, the most important data, where people were dying, we didn't have. That's worse than New York. Agreed?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, look, it appears the state of Michigan is wildly undercounting COVID deaths in its long-term care facilities. A joint investigation by the No Bullshit News Hour and the Mackinac Center for Public Policy reveals that the state's Department of Health and Human Services does not scrub vital records to determine whether people who died of COVID were nursing home residents, as its own guidelines require. Moreover, our investigation found that the DHHS did conduct a limited review of those vital records last summer and found that 44% could be traced to nursing homes. Inexplicably, there is no indication that the Whitmer administration has ever made those findings public. And, smoking gun, the health department has abandoned the practice because
Why? I can't even imagine why they would stop.
They told us it's too time consuming.
Wow.
Am I wrong, Steve?
They said it was too time consuming and they lacked the resources.
So basically, in a pandemic situation we've never dealt with before, collecting vital data and information was too time consuming.
And didn't have the resources. Now remember, the government sent the health department $500 million to deal with this. Okay? Now, let's get one thing straight before I give you the next set of numbers. The health department workers are working their ass off. The epidemiologists are working their ass off. What we're finding, what happened here is America's fucked. COVID exposed it. Everything's fucked up. The roads are fucked up. The hospitals are fucked up. The nursing homes are fucked up. Our data collection is, our unemployment center is fucked up.
Exposed it all.
We're the fucking Flintstones. So, decades and decades of abuse to this system. Cut, nobody watched. And now it caught us. There's that. And then there's this divisive, partisan, hyper-partisan political era we're living in the middle of that election. There's that too. Here's the next bit, folks. So here's the true number of deaths inside Michigan's elder care centers may never be known. But our analysis shows that the COVID death toll in these homes may be 100% more.
So double.
Double.
Wow.
Than what they're telling us.
They can say they don't have the resources or the money or whatever it is. It sounds like they just didn't have the will or desire to count them all for whatever reason.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay, comment on that. What Mark just said.
A decision had to have been made at some point that it took too much time, and it was. I don't know what they mean by resources. I presume money, and that they couldn't afford to do that and do something else. What that something else is, I don't know. Who made that decision, I don't know. But given the large number of vital records that have been reported, this is an important aspect of the pandemic, because it tells us this is how this data was necessary to shape the best policy. And it seems like they don't have it.
Yeah, they don't. That's what they're telling us. Look, the data you're getting, right? Look, there's about 19,000 deaths. I'm going to do it this way so when we're talking, everybody gets it. Let's call it 18,000 deaths, 6,000 nursing home, okay?
Yeah.
We'll do that so because it's one,
Even numbers.
Yeah, 18 divided by 6, we can do it in thirds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, that number you're getting from the nursing homes, right? That's reported on the state's page, quote, does not include any data from vital records review.
Yes.
Meaning, they're searching around the state. They find death certificates like this, right? If they track it back to a nursing home, it's not even included. That's what they're saying right there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right, Steve?
Yeah, what they're saying is if you die in a hospital, we're not going to go back and look if it's a nursing home as your primary residence.
Because of the resources and time. How much time does it take to go back and look?
Let me do this. We're going to...
Please.
Another quote from that limited review last summer. They looked at 1,500 of these records.
And then stopped, yeah.
648 deaths came from a vital records review we did for deaths between March and June, confirmed Bob Wheaton, the spokesman for the health department. That is not a review that we are able to do regularly due to how time-consuming it is and the amount of resources we need to devote to this. Let me give you the last one, then we'll answer your question. Well, how do you do it? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, what is a vital records review?
How do you take that? What do you do? Okay, so here. Even when we do the manual review that is needed to link hospital deaths to long-term care facility residents, the results are still substantially incomplete. Did you hear that? Even when we do it, it's substantially incomplete. These are bullshit. Okay, if the facility resident is transferred to a hospital and subsequently dies, it can be difficult to tie that death back to a specific facility or to the fact that the individual was even a resident of a facility. Death certificates have a field for type of place of death like home, ER, nursing home, long-term care facility, etc. Yeah. We, the health department, also capture the name of the facility if the death occurred in a facility. Meaning, if the nursing home report that they died in the nursing home.
Yeah.
Right, okay. The challenge has been identifying long-term care facility residents who are transferred to and die in hospitals since the death certificate lists where they actually died.
Yeah, that's the data you would want to know because people moving around. That's pretty simple.
Well, how did they? That's exactly what happened in New York.
Yeah.
New York kept track. They knew where the nursing home people died. They had a list. You died in the nursing home. You died at the hospital. They hid the hospital from the public. We know that because they admit it, and only gave you the nursing home deaths. That's what's going on with us.
Wow. And then so they do the vital records review to find those hospital deaths and where they were really from.
They do a vital records search.
Search,
right?
okay.
Just to find people that died in the past, and then they go, oh yeah, death certificate. Hypoxic respiratory failure. Yeah, it's COVID, right? COVID, right? So that's how they do it. But watch this. Let me do this, and then I'll shut up, and you guys go. On the death certificate, this is Clarence. Remember our friend Clarence? the ward of the state,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
veteran. Clarence, place of death. Detroit Hospital. He died in a Detroit hospital. Place of residence, current residence. It's on East Grand Boulevard. Right? Now, Stephen, you just Google the address,
I actually know that facility.
and it's a nursing home.
Yeah.
It took 8 seconds.
I was just going to say it didn't take very long at
Yeah.
all. So
He died there, so we can't really trace it. Why don't you just put that in the computer?
And
Put,
so
put
how-
the address in and where he lives.
how many thousands of reviews? Well, let's say there's 1,000 of that. So 8,000 seconds that's just too much time.
We got 12,000 records out of 18,000 that haven't been reviewed.
Oh, come on. Well, no one's going to buy the not enough time, not enough resources. There's just not the will to do it.
Karen, what the fuck's
Think
wrong with
about this
government?
too. We were in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know if we still are, but certainly the source of the disease, the virus, the infection
Yes.
has some relevancy. You can't just dismiss it if, in fact, you are honestly trying to control it or impact it in a positive way. So that doesn't make any sense at all.
It's bull. Well, we shut down all human activity. And remember when we were all going, what data, what science? What data, what science? We didn't have the real data. We all, look.
There's also repercussions for the future next time something happens.
Well, yeah, because the system's not being addressed. That's what this is like you said. COVID has brought it all to the forefront that the system is broke and it's not being fixed.
And that's really what we're doing here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to assess blame, but we're going to find out who made the decision to stop counting.
Absolutely.
Right, because that makes no sense.
The old, the sick, and the confined were the ones dying. We knew that. Even if you want, they're currently reporting 30%, 29% of all deaths were these people. Could be 60, 70%. We don't know. But we never tracked.
Right, so we don't know for sure now.
No, let me do this. Bring her up, mannequin. Bring up Nurse Jessica. Bring her up. Are you with us, Jessica? We're waiting for it. We're trying to tap into her.
Got to unmute her.
Yeah. So you heard Nurse Jessica a couple of weeks ago tell you like she was working in a facility and talking about the death count.
Yeah.
And that she was the one in charge tracking it.
Lack of oversight too. Major lack of oversight.
We're gonna. Are you there, Jessica? Joe, is she there? Okay, somebody talk to me here.
We can
Hey,
see.
Joe, I'm asking you a question, bro. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's there. She needs to unmute.
Okay. All right. So, Jessica was director of nursing at a downriver nursing home. She was in charge of tracking their patients in the facility and when they went to the hospital and what ends up happening to them. Okay? Now, she's going to give you her face. She's going to give you her name.
Wow.
Because somebody has to be brave. And now that she's going to do it, the rest of you come back. Come on, don't be afraid. Everybody in this frame that you see or the voices you hear, we're not political. It's not about that. We want the best for we the people. We're our thing now. Because I can't believe in them. Every time you look, it's fucked up. Is she there, Joe?
No, she's now dropped off.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the fuck's sake. I'm going to call her back. You guys yak.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I want to say this too. People don't understand that they have gotten so used, and when I say they, I'm referring to the authority, the powers to be that's in charge of these things, to just running along and doing whatever, that they don't even know how to respond to somebody coming and getting the truth and being on their head and holding their feet to the fire. And that's how the system got broke and remained broke all this time.
Well, like you said, too, in terms of, the pandemic, COVID brought a lot of things to the surface. These things were already broken. They were already not working for the majority of, residents, both here in the city and in the state, but it brought it to the forefront. Now, if you make an adjustment that alters the perception of just how ineffective things are, then you really don't have a desire to address the issue at hand. And that's what has happened. We aren't going to fix it. We're going to make it look like it's really not as bad as it is.
Steve, was there anything jumped out to you as a surprise in this battle to get these numbers that you felt was really kind of unusual?
I suppose it was unusual to learn that it was this straightforward. And what I mean by that is the question is a relatively simple question, which is if someone dies in a hospital, do you then go back to look if they're in a nursing home? It took some time to get an answer to that question, but it's a fairly simple question. And once the answer was given, I was kind of surprised that no one else had, I guess, asked or had published that before until Charlie did on Deadline Detroit.
Well, that's incredible. So no will to keep going back at these record reviews. And it seemed like it was pretty easy to get this information. So I think
it wasn't easy. That's the other outrage. Look, predictably, Steve and I, getting shelled from some corners. We had a fucking suit of government. Nobody joined us.
Yeah.
We went through it and through it and through it. Couldn't believe what we saw. We asked. We bent over backwards. Fuck it. You want to attack me? Attack me. Nonpartisan. I want to get Joe. Take the shit off now, man. Look, folks. This is. Can I see her? Put her on. Put her up. Hey, directors, where's Jessica? Put her up there. Her real face, Joe. God damn it. See, Mark, I told you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Relax, Charlie.
Hey, why? Don't fucking tell me to relax.
That's what everybody's saying. Calm down.
Don't care.
They said we're here. They're with you. Nobody's leaving you.
But don't tell me what to do. You don't fucking live in it. You're not up to 3 in the morning. You're not. Come on. I can't believe it. You're not living my life. You sit at home and you yak and you put memes up. This is Jennifer Lorraine. She is a registered nurse. She was the director of nursing at the Lodge in Taylor. You want to know I'm so bent out of shape? Listening to her. The fucking shit she went through. You're brave, Jennifer. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Good to be here, Charlie.
Are you afraid to be on, Jennifer?
No.
Why?
Because I think that we all just want the answer as to what's the true numbers and why were we reporting if they just stopped collecting data? If they didn't have the resources, we didn't really have the resources to do it either.
Okay, let me go like this. Look, this is nothing on the Lodge at Taylor because they honestly gave the state the numbers because you were the one tracking it. Tell us what you did and then end up telling us how many you reported to the state. So what is it you would do when you were tracking the residents who had COVID?
Okay, once we became a hub, and I assume this was with all the hubs and possibly all other nursing homes, as there was a spreadsheet that we listed each resident with demographics like their birth date, what day did they come in, and if they were COVID positive. And if they went to the hospital, we would update it to say they went to the hospital. And if they died at the facility or if they died at the hospital, we updated that too. So we send it with each new COVID positive case. And then on Friday, there was this cumulative documents that we sent that had information about all the departments, housekeeping, laundry, kitchen, to make sure things were being, sanitized and done so that they could check that we were doing all the things that we should be doing.
And how did you send them? Was there a central facility, or forgive the comparison, a hub where you would put the information, or how would you compile it, and who would you send it to?
We compiled it together as a nursing team, administration, and at a representative at the state.
So you would send it in a spreadsheet to a person assigned to you at the state, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a fuck up right there. Like how
have it. Mm-hmm.
How old is that process? Like we don't have a central place at that time where everybody loaded in the information. It's important to say the state was never given us any death data until June. The governor with her pen never required it at all in those executive orders, at all. Okay, so Jennifer, are you there? Because the connection's crazy.
It's terrible.
Okay. So, can you hear me, Jennifer? Okay, what we're going to do is this. Play with that, Steve. I'm going to call her back and tell her go off Zoom.
Yeah,
just call us on the phone. Or why don't you call her right now?
Her.
And I want to say this. Antiquated systems that they using is not working anymore. It's not working anymore. This is crazy. If a pandemic breaks back out, what we gonna do?
Well, the fact of the matter is they collected all that data, and the home itself has it, so it's out there. It's a matter of accumulating it.
Right there.
Yep.
Well, my thing is technology would allow a more efficient submission and tracking of data and information. And why isn't that being used? That would be my first question. It should be relatively simple. And if, in fact, the cause of death is a virus that is a pandemic, certainly you want to know the source, because the whole goal is to garner some control over that. So that doesn't make any sense to not take it back to the source. I mean, it really makes no sense.
Okay, Jennifer, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So how many people, like you left the Lodge and Taylor, one of the so-called hubs, you left in June, right?
Right.
Of 2020. Well, I guess it's not even June.
June. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. How many people did you notify the state had died at one of its hubs?
It was somewhere in the 20s. It was 22, 23, 24, somewhere in there. And the only reason I remember that is because when I looked, we were all kind of looking at these spreadsheets that were on the state website that was counting how many deaths we had, and knowing other people in the industry, it was like, well, are they just behind, or because that's not actually like real-time numbers?
Okay, and I looked this morning. You want to know how many deaths are reported cumulative as of this morning?
How many?
14.
Oh.
So watch, folks, watch math. Remember 44% of these vital records that they did back in June?
The ones they had to stop.
Go back to the nursing home?
Yeah.
She's saying 42% of the deaths in her hub that she knew of at that time disappeared. Where are those deaths?
How do you explain that?
Because the state's not doing its job.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got bullshitted. So the governor gets to accept an award from the Kennedy Library today for courage.
Wow.
I don't know the governor did this. I don't know if the bureaucracy knowingly did. I don't know. I don't know who put a stop to this. Somebody did. But here's the thing. With the politics already, it's no season for awards.
That's a great point.
This hasn't shaken out yet. Stay out of our shit and let us do it.
Remember Cuomo accepted an Emmy and wrote a book in the middle of all of it, and look how that blew up in his face.
And nobody in media wanted to challenge him, and it took the New York State Attorney General to point this out. Ours is probably worse than New York's, right? Madam Attorney General Nessel, you said there's no grounds for an investigation. Well, I think there is now. And I'm not saying it's a criminal investigation. Somebody needs to go through all 19,000 of these death certificates and plug them in. Do you think it's possible, Steve, to do that?
Yeah, I do. I think that can be done via Excel. I think there's plenty of different ways to do that. And, I'm not going to say it's not going to take a little bit of time, but it needs to be done.
how about a partnership with one of the universities? You know, I mean, students that may be in epidemiology or something, you know, that could align a partnership with their Lansing, Michigan State University, or, you know, some other university in the state to help comb through that data. I think that would be an amazing partnership and project.
That's not bad. And remember, I told you the reports on the nursing home response, and they said they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? They no worse than anybody else. And I said there's an asterisk in there, and it said more data needed. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So what that is
So
now.
I got a better idea, Karen. Yours is a good idea. Why don't the Republicans get off their ass? What's it? The Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey's going to rallies with like right-wing nuts who want to kidnap the governor. Dude, you got the power of the purse. I'm not hearing shit from you. I know you're palsy up there with the opposition party. How about y'all get together, right? Put some money in this, get the numbers, figure it out, and fix the fucking nursing homes.
I agree with that, and I like Karen's idea, but honestly, it is the fucking job of the Attorney General to run an investigation like this. Isn't it her? Isn't it really ultimately fall on her? Steve, do you think it falls on her?
I think there's plenty of people who can do it, and to be honest with you, I think they all need to be involved. You know, Charlie just mentioned the Senate. I think the House can be involved in this. I think the governor's office can be involved in this, and I think the Attorney General can be involved in this. This isn't a partisan thing at this point. It's something went wrong, and we need to figure out how it went wrong, why, and how it doesn't happen again.
Let me do this. You're there, Jessica, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Jennifer. How hard was it for you? I mean, now let's do this. Fuck politics. I think we all know that. How hard was it on you?
Well, it was hard on the whole team. It was obviously something that you can't prepare yourselves for, and each day brings so many new stresses. You know, and then, you know, there's people that you've been taking care of for so long that, you know, the whole home environment was gone. It was just, you know, something I hope to never go through again. But it was hard. It was hard on everybody. It was hard on the residents. It was hard on the loved ones. It was hard on the staff. It's still not easy, but
What does it look like when somebody's dying of COVID?
Well, you can see it coming. You know, it just happens so quickly. You know, the fever was for most of the elderly because, you know, that was typically their first sign because they can't really tell you, some of them, how they feel. And once that fever, they were already, you know, starting into sepsis and so forth. And so that's why we tried to get people to the hospital as quick as we could, which is why the numbers, that's why the numbers are important because, you know, we didn't want them to die. So the best place for them to be was in the hospital. So we tried to get them out as fast as we could.
So can I ask you something more on the mental state side of all of this? You worked through that, you and your team. Y'all witnessed all this death. You seeing that they're not handling their business on the state end with the numbers. Do you think anybody is going to suffer some emotional or PTS type D behind seeing all this?
Say PTS type D.
Well, I mean,
This is the new one.
right. I was trying to say, you know, something
than type
along that
D.
line.
Yeah. Are you guys suffering mentally?
Well, personally for me, since I've been in nursing 40-plus years, I've been able to take a break from being a director of nursing and still be in healthcare and nursing homes doing something different. But, you know, that was my final year of being able to work in that capacity anymore. A lot of people have quit. A lot of, you know, it's hard to get people back in to this profession and take care of people. So I would have to say PTSD. I think my son told me I have PTSD. During the time, every day was, you know, there was a lot of tears shed amongst all of us.
Overall, Jennifer, though, you feel that, you know, some of these deaths weren't fully counted from your facility, and you alluded to the fact that you've talked to other people in other facilities, and it's across the board a similar situation?
yes, across the board, everybody that I've spoken to has said there was more people that died than was recorded on any, public site.
I know a place, nurse told me, like, it's like the body count's 40, 45 people higher than it's being reported. I'm going to see if I can get her to come on. But last thing, Jennifer, I'll let you go. This was a hub, and we were promised that you could put positive patients and perfectly healthy residents in the same building if you created a separate wing and you did the protocols. Did that happen? Was that even possible?
Well, when we became a hub, we did have one designated part of the building that was for COVID positive that were coming in or that had become COVID positive on the long-term side, and then they would go to the designated hub part of the building. But, you have people who are on the other side who are getting COVID. So, whether it's from staff or where, they were still positive. So it's difficult you can't see it. Once you see it coming, it's already there, and the roommates or other people have already gotten it.
So what I'm asking you
okay,
is put them in another part of the building. Is that sufficient to stop the spread?
No.
Did you have separate staff only for the COVID people, like separate kitchen porters, separate nurses, separate orderlies?
We used the same kitchen. There was cleaning down of how the food was transported to the other side and then how it came back to the kitchen. Designated personnel for just those people. If you're asking that if staff didn't have to work in different parts of the building, I'm sure that happened everywhere because we only have so many staff.
Yep.
Same ventilation system throughout?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course.
Well, there you go. So
is it how is it now at the facility?
She's not there.
Oh, all right.
She's out.
I'm not there, but the whole industry, and I hate to call nursing care or nursing homes or ALF an industry, but we function, we take care of people, we need people to take care of people.
Well, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on here. I think you're the first director of nursing in this country to step forward and say something. And I really admire you for that. Your name is Jennifer Lorraine, and you are an American. I admire you. I'm with you.
Well, I thank you for everything that you're doing, Charlie, because, I've heard people say it 100 times, nobody else is doing this, and you've said nobody else is doing this, but what I think Mark might have said, or that, what do we do if it happens again? Are we just going to make the same mistake because we didn't learn the first time? And why weren't we prepared for a pandemic as the nation or as a country, as the world?
Because we do have a tendency to do that. We just move right along.
It was always win.
No. Okay, well, there you go, folks. How about that? All right, let's give her a hand.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, that is a profile in courage. Not only the work she did, because remember, we were all scared shitless. I know Steve was outside rubbing his shoes and rubbing alcohol and all of his grapes one at a time. He's giving them the Clorox. He was. He's scared shitless. I mean, because he could lose a couple pounds. I mean, What?
Fair.
All right, listen, Steve, man, it's probably, I don't know, how's the reaction? It's all right with you so far? I mean, because...
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot like we've talked through, and we've talked a lot, but at the end of the day, the quotes that you gave, I'm struggling to read in a different way, and I have been the entire time. I don't know how it ended up to this point, but the important thing now is figuring out what the numbers actually are, and then making sure, as you just said, that in the future this doesn't happen again.
Because the
This has
materials
to be
we're
a lesson
given,
that carries forward.
the materials we received in our settlement don't point in any other direction. That's it.
Can I ask Steve? Steve, let me ask you a question. Do you think without an investigation, this problem will get fixed here with the nursing homes and long-term care?
Without any kind of investigation?
Yes.
Probably not. And again, to clarify, as Charlie said, I don't mean a criminal investigation. I literally mean somebody needs to go look at what we have here and figure it out.
Oh, and we're gonna do our own. We're gonna find somebody had to make a decision to stop counting.
Yeah.
Right? Well, we're gonna find out. And here, we're gonna move on, but I got to give this to you, Karen. Here's the government for you, guys. Remember TCF, the field hospital, Cobo Hall that we never used. I don't know why. Right? They had the super ventilation system and the scuba suits and everything. I sent the same exact Freedom of Information Act to the state and to the city of Detroit. Same one. I'm requesting, you know, any verbiage, any conversations, any transcripts of why you shut it down, mothballed it, hiatus, etc. The state said, okay, that's going to cost you $507.
$507.
Yeah, to get the email because they're going to have to go through them and they can make sure nobody's address isn't in there.
Yeah. We know how tight they are with time and resources.
Right? Very same. Very same FOIA to the city of Detroit.
Exactly. Oh boy, I can't. Okay.
$17,995.
Gotta be shitting me.
$18,000.
Gotta be shitting me, man.
So Detroit
Charlie,
says,
that's used as a deterrent.
Yeah,
you
of
know
course
that.
it
That is used as a deterrent. For you to say, hey, that's too much money, and then at some point, for some media outlets, they get the attorney involved, and it goes back and forth. It buys time, and it is a deterrent. That's it.
So, folks, if you might, we have a donate button or something.
Yeah, we need 70.
Send more stars.
See the Fix the Shit T-shirts? Order that. You know what I mean? We'll ship it to you. We'll take that money, and we will spend the $500 to get it from the state. Fuck the city.
I think the deterrent would work better if it wasn't such an unrealistic number.
Oh, my God.
But two things I want people to remember. You keep saying if this happens again, it's going to. They're saying, oh, you're going to need a booster. They're already planning for another round or whatever. And we only respond to what we're being told. If you notice, reporting of the COVID numbers and talking about it continues to move further and further down the line in terms of what's being talked about. So just pay attention, people. Seriously, pay attention.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the other thing. Okay, whether like we get our pandemic response together, that's not the point here. Realize how bad our technology system is.
Yeah.
Our data collection, right? Like, remember you couldn't get your unemployment check because our
system was
wiring
antiquated.
System just doesn't work. So how much money they sending us? $10 billion?
A lot, yeah.
Put some money into the damn computers, like that you pretended we had.
I'm gonna guess that they don't.
I never told
But
you
this is 2021. We should have that. It's not like it's, brain surgery. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff. Everything else is expedited through technology. Why isn't this?
Oh, my God. What were you going to say?
If you got to certify your unemployment on an Etch-a-Sketch, maybe it's time to update your shit.
Right. And, again, the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, thank you for being my lawyer, Steve. And it is about public policy. And we're not the bad guys. I'm just an independent dude. You all know I've been doing this for a year. I've been picking up bodies in the nursing homes. I'm in the jailhouse. You hear that? Nursing homes, jailhouse. That's where I hang out. Not the Capitol building. Not City Hall.
And there's nothing wrong with asking questions.
I'm for the people, man. I'm for Jennifer. Yeah. That's my man.
And not only that, you bringing the people to let their voice be heard, along with the work you're doing. So it's not like Charlie just sitting up here making this stuff up, then run out, do a couple of zany things. He's actually talking to people that's in the trenches, and these folks are coming forward so that everybody can be helped.
Now, speaking of zany things, remember we told you, I know the governor had a bad week again. Pizzagate. She went and had pizza with her pals.
Hungry Howie's or Little Caesars.
It's amazing how quick she copped to it and said, oops, sorry, it's a mistake, as opposed to maybe other things that she didn't cop to.
And then drops.
But she posed for a picture. Like, this wasn't like somebody snuck and took the picture. That picture was posed. So somebody took the picture and posted it, shared it, whatever.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, Karen. I don't
That
know.
wasn't very smart.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so, in the very next day, yielding to pressure, this 6 feet apart in a restaurant, if you've got 4 kids or 5 kids, you can't all sit at a table together, only 6 at a table.
Yeah.
That's all gone. I told you it was over. But we don't get lost in Pizzagate, Steve. We stay on stuff because this is a real news organization. Remember Flightgate? Remember that one way back like a week ago? All the way back like a week ago. I mean, this is out of the news cycle.
Hey,
Not for us. Okay, you got a slush fund paying $27,000 for a flight that the governor hitchhiked on. And paid $855 for her seat. Well, what was the slush fund doing? Who was on the plane? Who was doing official business for the slush fund? Who was on the plane?
Who was on the plane?
Well, I got.
Come on, man.
I've been told, but I've been told. But were you having a pizza party down in Florida? It's possible.
Maybe then she'll admit it.
Right? Now, and we do know whose plane that was when you went to the inauguration, that gift. So, we said we're going to keep following up. We deserve that answer. So, Red got the address of the president of the slush fund called Michigan Transition 2019, and he went to ask some questions.
Sure did.
Okay, let's roll this.
All right, this your boy, comedian Detroit Red. We about to go see if we can talk to Miss Lisa Canada, who ran Whitmore's transitional fund and paid for it out the jets. Let's see if we can go talk to her. Let's go. Well, we had a man come to the door and look out, and he immediately turned around. I think I seen Miss Canada peep her head around the corner to look towards the door, but nobody's answering of as yet. But we do know they're home. So I came back the next morning. I think I seen Miss Canada just hit the door and then turn around. Well, I came back the very next morning. Apparently, Miss Canada don't want to answer none of these questions we got for her. Like, who was on the plane? Did y'all actually have a check that's been cashed? And when do you charter private jets from a company that don't charter trips? What's funny to me is they have no problem with doing the bullshit that they do, but when you try to get answers, they never want to answer you. So, I guess I won't be getting no answer from yet another person in power that's done apparently did some shit they wasn't supposed to be doing. But that's how I go. And that's why I'm out here doing this. Hey, this your boy, comedian Detroit Red, NBN News, straight from the porch of Lisa Canada. Deuces!
No, that's the thing. Sorry, because there was a good bit in there, Mark. We edited fast because we're.
What did I cut out?
Like him actually going, hey, hello, hey, guy. In the first day. And then you cut out. What? Red goes, well, they won't be here today. And then he says, maybe this morning. So, like, he went yesterday and then this morning.
Yeah, 2 days. This is a 2-day venture. My first journalistic stakeout. And it was in an affluent neighborhood, so I was a little nervous because my weed smells like car smells like weed. But anyway, it was interesting. The first day, I assume it was the husband. Halfway to the door, he saw me with the mic. He went back to the kitchen.
Well,
hold on. I seen him speak to her, and she looked around the corner from around the wall, and you could see her nod her head like, I don't know who the fuck this is. And they both disappeared, and I stayed out there a couple more minutes. And so then I went back this morning to see if I could do, catch her on her way to making a living or work. And as soon as she saw my face, She disappeared off to the side. Then we saw her appear up in the top window on a tablet. And once I saw the tablet, I said, it's time to get the hell out of here. I don't want to deal with the police.
Well, they have a ring, so they have you on
Yes.
tape and on camera.
There's nothing. No, that's. I'm knocking on the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they do have
Look
a
at
ring.
that. Look at that. Come on.
I'm just surprised with the Ring doorbell that he didn't try to talk to you because they don't want to talk to anybody right now. You know, if someone comes
He
to your
wasn't charged. Maybe the battery was dead.
Oh, here's the deal, though. Good job, Red.
Yep.
Thank
Really?
you.
It's like, you know what? Comedian Detroit Red. Because the rest of the reporting on this is a joke.
It really is. It's like they don't want to know.
We want the answer. It's our right to know. Good word.
Thank you.
Look at that. Fuck, they're running from comedian Detroit Red.
I'd answer the door if he came to me.
As they should.
And the funny part, the husband came out this morning. And you know, I've never really done this before, so.
The Wolchek bit.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, all the shave. Hey.
So I'm thinking, should I talk to him? I'm like, no, that's not who I want to talk to. And he purposely would not look at the car. And I know he recognized me because I'm literally sitting on the curb at the house next door.
He probably left because you showed up. He didn't want to deal with you.
Okay. Well, look. Better
I'm used to
government,
that.
right? Karen,
Yes.
I'm going to give you the last word before I give you a little reading of mine from 20 years ago from the time of 9/11. Do you think, really, I mean, be honest, do you think we're ever going to be able to fix any of this shit?
I think we could. I think that those who could fix it don't want to, and as a result, will not, to be perfectly honest.
It's too
beneficial for them not to, and there's not a level of accountability that will make them or force them to buckle under and do right. Sure, everybody runs from you, everybody runs from Red, but you know they can navigate and circumvent those things enough. I just encourage people to start asking their own questions, demand accountability, and stop just believing just what you hear. Think about what you're not hearing. Think about what you're not seeing, and ask yourself why. Like, why is it so difficult to do the right thing? It's not. And ask why they don't want to do it and why they won't.
Yeah. Hey, right on. I'm sorry for yelling at everybody.
It's all good, Charlie. We are not sensitive. It's okay.
We really don't pay you that much attention. We just act like we do.
But somebody said, they said, Karen, you're a strong woman. We know Charlie's not. Charlie's not a bad person. He's good to the core. If Charlie were disrespectful or a mean person, I wouldn't be here. I would not put up with Charlie's crap. But Charlie is a passionate person, and it comes from a good place.
Yes.
So he's all right, and we know that, and we accept him for him. He's all good.
I don't have any problem with you yelling because I was yelling at myself on the inside.
That's you internalized everything.
I don't have no problem with you yelling because I'm married and learned how to tune that out a long time ago.
All right. Look, man. All right. This is it's called The Harbor Light Stays On. The stranger walked into the Harbor Light pub and was met with stares. Gloomy, downcast eyes dressed in black. The stares themselves were not an odd thing. Most strangers who walk through the doors are usually given the once-over. This is not a bar strangers find by chance. It's at Beach 129 and Newport Avenue on the Rockaway Peninsula, 12 miles and a world away from Manhattan. The men who grew up on the peninsula's western tip lean toward two careers, finance or the fire department. Those who pick finance are often the sons of firefighters whose fathers have discouraged them from the job, thinking Wall Street would be safer. 2 weeks ago, on September 11th, when the first jet plowed into the offices of Cantor Fitzgerald, an international bond firm in the World Trade Center, people found out just how dangerous the world of high finance could be. About 90 people from the west end of the peninsula died in the attacks, both stockbrokers and men from the fire brigade. Most of the bodies have not been recovered. In the Harbor Light, the quality of the eyes was noticeable. They were hard, almost hostile stones belonging to people who had just returned from a memorial or a wake or the couch of a widow. Hardly a word was spoken there the other afternoon, though the place was doing a brisk business. There was no champagne or expensive wine. Just beer and liquor chased with the silence of human companionship. Photographs from the owner's days in the fire department hung on the stucco walls. Food was frying on the grill. An unwelcome light poured in through the large plate glass window. The owner's name is Bernie Heron. His son Charlie worked on the trading desk at Kenner Fitzgerald. I lost my son, and I got 50 funerals to go to, Mr. Heron said. I don't feel anything. The bar fell back into the soundlessness except for the television, which broadcast, among other things, a commercial for the good American life. It was an ad about sailboats and blondes and bikinis and surefire methods to stop hair loss, if it were only hair loss. They figure 40 people from the immediate neighborhood died, and if you trace a finger along the web of friendship, the losses multiply into the hundreds, perhaps thousands. The stranger eventually spoke. "Excuse me, sir," he asked the morose-looking man who stared into his glass. "Can you tell me where the church is?" The man raised his head without taking his eyes from the glass. "Right out there," he said, and motioned toward the window with his chin. "Just look for the priest." Happy Memorial Day.
Success